All right, let's dive right in. We're going to explore a really huge shift in technology, and we're going to do it through the eyes of HubSpot co-founder and AI innovator Dharmesh Shah. The big idea here, we're moving away from seeing AI as just a simple tool, something we use, and into a future where AI is actually our teammate.
And I want you to really think about that question. Because look, this isn't some far-off science fiction concept. This is happening right now, and it's changing the way we're all going to work, create, and collaborate. The ground is literally shifting under our feet.
So to really get a handle on where this is all headed, we first have to kind of reset our brains, change our whole perspective on what AI is, and more importantly, what it can be. This quote from Dharmesh Shah, this is the heart of it. For decades, software has just been a tool, right? Something you pick up, you use it for a task, you put it down. But AI agents, they're becoming something totally different. They're evolving into collaborators that we work with, not just something we use. They're becoming part of the team. Okay, that all sounds amazing, but it brings up a pretty big question. What actually is an AI agent? What are we even talking about here? Let's get a really clear, simple definition. Now, Shaw's definition is so powerful because it's so simple. Seriously, forget all the complex ideas about whether it's conscious or autonomous. He just says if a piece of software uses AI to get a goal done, that's it. It's an agent. And having such a broad definition, well, it opens up a whole universe of possibilities. And this is where that simple definition gets really cool. It lets us use this incredible analogy from biology. The most basic agent, what Shaw calls an atomic agent, is like a single-celled organism. It does one simple thing. But just like in nature, when you start combining those simple cells, you can create something way more complex, like organs, entire systems, and eventually, a whole person. So if we've got these agents, from the super simple ones to these incredibly complex ones, and they're becoming our new teammates, what does that actually do to our workplaces? How does it change the structure of our teams? We've all gotten used to this idea of hybrid work over the last few years, right? But we've always defined it by location. Are you in the office or remote? Shaw says the next version of hybrid, the one that's way more profound, is going to be teams made up of carbon-based life forms. That's us, working side by side with silicon-based agents, all on the same team, working on the same goals. Okay, so we have the individual agents, and we have these new hybrid teams. But that's not the end game, not even close. See, a single agent is useful. A team of agents is really powerful. But a whole economy of them? Well, that needs a network. This is so important. The individual agents are just step one. The real breakthrough, the real revolution, happens when they can find each other, figure out what the other can do, delegate tasks, and collaborate to solve problems that are way too big for any single agent to handle on its own. But how do they do that? They can't just text each other, right? Well, they need a universal language, a standard way of communicating. That's where things like an MCP, or machine-to-machine communication protocol, come in. It's basically a framework that lets one agent find another one, ask, hey, what are you good at? And if it's a match, hand off a piece of the work. Think about it like this. It's basically a LinkedIn for AI. And that's exactly the vision behind projects like Shaw's own Agent.ai. The goal is to build this huge open directory where agents can have a profile, list their skills, and literally get hired by other agents to get a job done. So, naturally, if you've got a whole new way of working, you're going to need a whole new way of paying for it. How does the money work in this new agent-driven economy? Well, two main models are really starting to pop up. On one hand, you have work as a service. That's where you pay for the process, the time or the computer power an agent uses. Then, on the other hand, there's results as a service, where you don't pay for the effort at all. You only pay for a specific, measurable result, like, say, a customer support ticket getting successfully closed. But here's a really interesting warning from Shaw. He thinks we might be getting a little too excited about that results as a service model. And why? Well, because so much of the work that's truly valuable, like coming up with a new marketing strategy or designing a brand logo, it doesn't have a simple, repeatable, easy-to-price outcome. For that kind of complex, creative stuff, work as a service just makes a lot more sense. Okay, so the technology is coming along. The business models are taking shape. What's left? What are the big hurdles we still need to clear to make this whole agent-driven world a reality? And according to Shaw, it all boils down to two huge connected ideas that we have to solve.
creating a shared memory for these agents, and building a completely new foundation for digital trust and data control.
Let's talk about memory first. I mean, just think about how annoying it is to download a new app and have to teach it the same basic stuff about you every single time. A shared memory means you could let a new agent tap into what other agents already know, with your permission, of course. It would be useful from the second you turn it on. That's a huge deal.
But for any of that shared memory stuff to work, we have to solve the trust problem. The way Shah puts it is brilliant. Today's data permissions are like a sledgehammer. It's all or nothing. What we need is a scalpel. We need controls that are so precise, so granular, that you could tell an agent you can only see emails from this person with this label from last week. That's the level of control we need.
And that brings us right here to the final and maybe most important question. This stuff isn't theory anymore. It's happening. The pieces are coming together. So when your first real AI teammate is ready to go, what's the very first thing you're going to delegate? It's not if anymore, it's when. It's definitely time to start thinking about it.